We're going to talk about an anxious attachment style and having anxiety in relationships. I'm going to give you some answers. Well, hello and welcome. My name is Arica Angelo, and I help men just like you all over the world become the kind of man that women desire. And I've been doing this for 12 years, so you're in good hands, and I'm really glad that you've made it to this video. So if you've not seen me before, I've been a dating and relationship expert for about 12 years now, and was recently just recognized by Yahoo Finance as one of the top 10 relationship experts in 2020. So you're in good hands, baby. You're okay. So we're going to talk about this topic. I don't know if you've even heard about this, an anxious attachment style and having anxiety in relationships. Typically what an anxious attachment style looks like is, when the person doesn't respond to you right away, you get anxiety. You're always worried about, like, where are they? What are they doing? Why aren't they writing me? This is an anxious attachment style. And then what happens is, you guess, it creates anxiety in the relationship. And so I'm not sure if that's something that you can relate to, but I think to some degree we all get a little bit anxious in relationships. Why? Because it's super, super vulnerable. And so if you have a little bit of anxiety in a relationship, there's an aspect of that it comes with the premise, because your heart's in such a vulnerable place that of course you're gonna feel a little nervous about things because you could possibly get hurt. But we're talking about something a little bit more deeper than that, where we're talking about where there's constant anxiety in the relationship. Typically people who have an anxious attachment style tend to attract partners who are more avoidant. They're just like, I need my space. I'm not gonna call you very often. I'm gonna be super intimate with you, but then when you're gone, I'm gonna completely detach from you. And so some people refer to it as this push and pull, push and pull, push and pull. So what do you do when you are in a relationship where there's an anxious attachment style there? Always, the first thing that you want to do is come back to yourself. That's the first thing you got to do. That's your baseline right there, is coming back to you and asking yourself, like, how can I, just kind of neutralize things? That could be going and spending time in nature, going for a hike, maybe meditating, maybe doing some yoga, some breathing, taking a walk on the beach, listening to some music, some meditative music to help calm yourself down. So there are two things. If you're wanting to stay in a relationship like this, ultimately safe communication is what you have to establish, meaning that you safely communicate to your partner what you're experiencing and what you're feeling, but that partner also needs to be a safe place back for you to be able to hear what you're communicating, and for you guys to create some boundaries and some solutions of, when you feel this way, what can we do as a couple to bring peace and harmony back into the relationship. But another aspect of this is, sometimes when we get into these relationships, it's always triggering something inside of us that needs to be healed. So if you're anxious, maybe there was a sense of abandonment when you were growing up, that you felt abandoned by one of your parents. Sometimes we even inherit this stuff in our DNA, where our parents didn't necessarily abandon us, but our grandparents did. I know this is getting a little bit out there, but our grandparents may have had some abandonment, and so it goes in the DNA. And so if that's you, understand that there's always an opportunity. When you're in this kind of a relationship, instead of looking at it as doom and gloom, like, oh my God, I'm feeling anxiety in this, look at it this way. Put a different shift, a different lens, a different perspective, which is, this is an opportunity to heal. This is something that's coming up inside of me that I can address. And if you don't feel like you're equipped to address it, then please feel free to reach out to me for some coaching. I would love to take you by the hand and walk you through this to help you find some resolve, some answers, some clarity, and some peace, so that you don't feel so scared in your relationships. But asking yourself, like, what is this bringing up inside of me? When my partner doesn't respond to me, or some of you single guys, when a girl doesn't text me right back, right away, What does this bring up? What emotions does this elicit inside of me? And really sit with that. You know, it could be when they don't write me back, I don't feel important. I don't feel valued. I don't feel wanted. I don't feel like they're excited about me. And then you can go a step further. What does that mean about me? When people aren't excited about me, how do I feel about myself? And so when you're taking the time and you're asking yourself these questions, what this inherently does is it gives you your power back. Because all too often when we get in relationships, we want to put all the emphasis on that person and we forget about ourselves. We neglect ourselves. And what I always say to you guys is you are the most important person. Without you, there is no relationship. Without you, there is no woman to pursue. And so in these moments where there's high anxiety, the question always is, how do I come back to myself? And how can I come back to myself is by answering these questions for yourself of how am I feeling? What does this make me feel about myself? And what does that say about what I continuously feel about myself? And if you want to take it a step further, where did that come from? And how can I bring some resolve? How can I bring some truth to this situation? This is a pretty complex one, but I hope that this brought you some clarity. At the end of the day, it's coming back to yourself and establishing some safety and security within yourself, and not necessarily giving the relationship nor your partner or the woman that you're pursuing all the power. Listen, babe, you have what it takes. And in this very moment, my dear, you are so loved. And if you're not feeling that way, then please reach out to me for some coaching. I'd love to be able to help bring some resolution and healing to your heart so that you feel loved and equipped as the incredible, amazing man that you already are. I'll see you in my next video.